Hello, welcome to our interview with Regina Oliver. My name is Danielle Gibson, and I am interviewing her for her film Always Enough. It premiered in, I don't know if it premiered, but it showed in the Mental Filmness Film Festival, and we're here to talk to her about it. So hello, Regina. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for having me, taking the time to watch Always Enough. And I'm really honored to be here and I'm excited to talk with you. So
We're so happy.
it.
Of course. Well, I mean, to start, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from or
Of
anything?
course.
Yeah.
I'm from originally the Bay Area, born and raised. And from, I want to say high school, I started taking up theater. And then I started taking acting classes once I graduated, and I was really into the theater. And that's my background is in theater. And then a few years ago, about 6 years ago, I finally came to Los Angeles and I transitioned from being in theater to, you know, film and commercials. And now I'm in a place where I'm starting to really own my creativity and really be the driving force behind my stories and just picking up speed and meeting a lot of creatives. And I really find pride in taking my stories and making them my own and using my voice. Because I have children, I have two young boys. They're not young anymore, but in my eyes, they'll always be babies. And I just want to be able to be an example for them, to be able to say, hey, you can do whatever you set your mind to, as long as you have the dedication and the belief in yourself. So this is where we are now. And yeah, I mean, I have also a background in production, and my whole career, it does revolve around film and television, from my schooling to my training to everything. But my personal life, I am a mother and I take great pride in that. I also love traveling, and I love reading, and I love meeting new people and being able to bring out the best in people and see them for who they are, and just make them feel great about themselves. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, your film certainly reflects all of that. I think you're a great example for your sons, especially, but just in the way you portray, honestly, the way you tell stories in general. So let's get into it. I have about
that almost made me tear up. I'm
oh my gosh,
so sensitive today. But yes, let's get into it.
No, it's true. It's very very warm. And I'm also coming at this like having read it. If those watching have not, I'm sorry, read it, having watched it, but if those watching, if you haven't watched it, take a second, go watch it and come back. And just you'll really appreciate it, I think, because it's very 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 beautiful. But so I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
Your bio mentions this film coming from a place of introspection, self-worth, and reflection.
Yes.
What would you say the genesis of this project was, and what would you like people to take away from it? And I guess with that, who do you think would benefit most from this film?
Of course, yeah. Well, the genesis of this project is healing. And it came to me in a time in my life when there were so many things shifting. And instead of, breaking down, I decided to turn my pain into, purpose. And I wanted to create something that was authentic, also intimate, and true, and that could remind people that they're not alone in what they feel. And so at its core, Always Enough, it's for anyone who's ever questioned their worth, for the overthinkers, for the high achievers, like myself as well, like a quiet survivor, and the ones who carry everyone else's weight but rarely get asked, like, hey, are you okay? How are you doing? So it's for those people who smile through chaos but feel everything so deeply. They're so sensitive, and behind closed doors, like, they feel alone. And it's also for people who've mastered appearing put together.
Yeah.
While silently they're rebuilding themselves, piece by piece, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of effort that a lot of people don't talk about. And so when people watch this film, I really want them to see themselves and to feel seen and understood, and maybe even a little healed by reflection, because sometimes art, it just reminds us of what our soul already knows. And that's ultimately that we are always enough, even in our most uncertain seasons in our lives. You're always going to be enough no matter what. You're exactly who you need to be right now for this moment.
That's very, very apparent from this film. I felt like when I was watching it, it's so striking visually, which I'll talk about more in a moment. But uh, it's just, you listen to this beautiful dialogue or monologue, and I can't help but feel the feelings I felt that are similar. I can't help but like think back on it, but like maybe look at it from like, hindsight's 2020. This is how I became who I am,
Yeah.
which is like it's hard to like tell someone like, oh, it'll get better in the future. But then once you've been through it, it's like you can show others this is how I feel. And I felt that, if that makes sense.
Yes, I
Really.
love that. No, I really appreciate that. That's your takeaway, because I want you to feel something. I want you to connect with it, where, again, in a way where it's reflective and you can see bits and pieces of where you've been in your life. So I love hearing that from you. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course. This, I guess, goes more into like technical or stylization.
Mm.
But the actress so excuse me. I
No
can write this,
worries.
I promise. Maybe not, I don't know. Uh, but the actress
You
so
got this, girl.
effortlessly, thank you. She writes the movie title in the mirror so well, so beautifully. And my first thought was like, wow, she just did that. How many takes does that take? But then like I wanted to say or ask you what your experience was working on the production design and how you used it to create your tone or mood.
Of course, I love this question. Well, first, the lipstick scene, is that you're referring to, right?
Yeah, that's like the whole film is stylized, but it's like towards the back half, in the
Oh,
back.
yes, the back. Well, definitely, the film itself, it took a few tries to get everything. I wanted it to reflect, I wanted the whole production to reflect the characters' inner emotional struggles.
Mhm.
So, with the first scene, which was very much red walls, checkered floor, um, that was when the character was going through a very emotional and dark place in her life, right? And so that scene, it was that one was something that came from my own reoccurring dreams,
Yeah.
more of like a nightmare that I would often have. And it was like being trapped in a silent spiraled space, and that visual became the emotional anchor. I can speak. And so that was the first scene. And then the second scene, I wanted there definitely to be a contrast, right? So I wanted it to also again reflect the transition. Now she's in a more transitioned space, and she's trying to figure things out. And it's a lighter space. She's not so much in the dark space, but it's kind of still there, right? And so with the second scene, especially the scene where she's writing on the mirror with a lipstick.
Mhm.
That took about 4 or 5 takes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it took
That's
about 4 or 5 takes, and we only had one lipstick.
I'm
And
gonna
I'm
be
like, I'm like,
I
oh
feel
my
like that's
gosh.
good. Like it's hard to get that right, especially for how perfect it was. I was honestly like I wouldn't have been surprised if it took some people longer. So like I
We see that, and that's another. We'll get to that later, but yeah, like I totally forgot. Like, okay, I got this one lipstick. but we're going to be writing with it. I should have had multiple, but we were working with one lipstick, a tight schedule, and we had to make it count, you know? And so the room, the red room, the black and the white palette mirrors, the character state of mind, like from the confusion to the rage and the longing for clarity. We built that aesthetic from mood boards and treatments that I've drafted on I love Canva. Canva came through. And you know, despite filming during the LA fires and the location
Wow.
changes, yeah, like the team pulled it all together beautifully, and I was so grateful because we really didn't have a lot of time, but we were making the most of each scene as much as we possibly could, and we were creative as much as we could. So I hope that answered that question, because I feel like did I answer that? Did I miss something?
So no, I think so. I definitely was like wondering how just what the process was like. And honestly, like it's hard to make enough time. There's never enough time to
Never.
set up, especially for production design, especially trying to get the look. It seemed effortless. Like it seemed very cohesive the way it was visually designed.
Yeah.
So props to you. And then the fact that it happened like during the fires,
Yes.
and that's like, oh, you did it this year. Like this is
Yeah.
like something you did a year or two ago. Like that's very fresh and like honestly, great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Turnaround.
It was definitely, you know, considering the fires and just like the quick turnaround, it was a challenge for everybody, but I felt like it was like kind of a pressure cooker, you know, and then, you know, people are getting evacuated and people are calling me and saying, oh, so and so can't come because, you know, they have to find shelter. And so everybody was just really trying to help everybody and stick to, you know, the script, so we're able to get everything done in a small time frame, but also with people having stress, you know, and they're like, okay, well, I just got this alert that we're being evacuated, and it's just like, okay, let's just like get through this and make sure everybody's getting to their respected areas as safely as possible. So definitely a challenge.
Wow. Well, congratulations for getting through it. I commend you. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Not at all. Not at all.
For sure. So I guess the way I'm gonna say this is like I'm mostly joking, but like you tell me if you get what I mean when I say this.
Mhm.
But speaking of production design, are you and how long have you been a fan of Twin Peaks? I say that because when I first saw the first image, I was like, oh wow, that's like very striking. Like there's in Twin Peaks, if you've seen it, like there's this like red room with like black and white like zigzags, not necessarily checkered floors, and it's like this like hollow space that honestly like if it was an accident, which again you can tell me, or by accident I mean if it's a coincidence, it was still like it lended really well to the state of mind of being trapped, of like trying to get out, feeling like you're like in a maze because, well, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen, but I also felt like it was like a mix of that and like Lemonade, like Beyonce's Lemonade. Very poetic, very visual. I guess hers is a visual album, of course, but it's like it's her reciting, like she's expressing herself and her journey. So I guess like was that a nod to Twin Peaks? But you also said it was a dream, so I'm just so curious, like how did that come to be specifically? I know that's like such an odd question, but
no, that's a great question. And honestly, first of all, I'm flattered that you're comparing it to those, you know, incredible references like Twin Peaks and Lemonade. Like, who would not love this comparison?
but it's also such a like you wouldn't expect those two things, so that's why I was like it's weird to mix them. But
no, like I totally admire the visual storytelling of Twin Peaks and of course of Lemonade. Like I think that was one of my favorite albums, and just her visual, you know, rollout. But in how they use the space, the color, the sound, and you know, to express emotion. And that is exactly what I was going for, is as far as using everything creatively to enhance what I'm trying to convey, right? So I didn't reference Twin Peaks or Beyonce per se, but I do see how you can draw that comparison and, you know, compare it to the works of them, because it is that visual and emotional, you know, take on all things, and just combining them all together is and allowing it to, like, if I weren't to speak at all, I wanted to the visuals to speak. I wanted the music to speak. I wanted everything to speak if you're not following the narrative, or if you're not feeling the narrative. Like, feel the music, feel the visuals, feel something, you know? So I love that comparison. And yeah, to answer your question, I didn't, it was for my dream. So I'm glad that there was a reference, that it actually there is, you know, a reference to refer to, because that's a beautiful comparison, and I appreciate that.
I guess it just is a nod to like you. Other filmmakers chose to portray their point in the same way. Other master filmmakers, I'll say, and you did too. So it's all props to you.
Thank you, thank you.
I actually didn't write this question down, but I meant to ask about your the music in it. Like, there's some whispering during it, but I just wanted to ask you: did you have that composed? Did you find that?
Oh my gosh, my composer, Jamie Shu, such an incredible, I was so blown away, but I was working with him and I was giving him my ideas, and I would send references, and I would say, but I want it to sound like this. And he was on it. Like, he spoke my language. He knew exactly what I was talking about. And every tweak we made, it was just like, he went and did it as soon as I let him know. And I was just like, he's amazing. He's amazing. I was blown away. I was so impressed. But yes, Jamie Shu, he composed it all. And I just, you know, I gave him ideas, but he's a mastermind.
You gotta love creative people.
So creative.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So, have you ever seen the movie Eve's Bayou?
I have.
I also felt like I got a little bit of that as a vibe, just the idea of memory and like thinking about the past, but mostly like the end when she's like, I don't know what happened, but the trauma of that. I know it's like slightly different, but I draw a lot from Eve's Bayou in my own work, and so I really felt that. So I got excited when I saw it. But anyway,
yeah, no, I love that, because I also, you know, I definitely, Eve's Bayou has influenced my work as well. And, you know, like the quiet mystery, the emotional depth, and like all of, I feel like I have referenced, like when I'm acting, like I want to go that deep, you know what I mean? So like, just like even the visuals, they live in the back of my mind whenever I'm creating, like all the references, your Eve's Bayou, Twin Peaks, you know, Lemonade, all of that. There's always something in the back of my mind where I'm like, oh, okay, and I get ideas from that. So I love that. So, but when I was developing Always Enough, I was inspired specifically by Surface. I don't know if you've seen that on Apple TV.
I haven't, but I will now.
It's like a psychological thriller. I love the actress in there. I just love the overall storyline and the production, and also it's like moody lighting. And then I also referenced like Mulholland Drive, because there was a scene, the wake up scene, and there was a cut that I really, really loved from Mulholland Drive, and it was like a dreamlike wake up scene, and it was surreal editing. So I remember referencing that and showing it to my editor, and I was like, let's do it like this, like just real quick. And she was like, okay. But she was my editor too. 10 out of 10. I couldn't do it without her.
Amazing.
She's the star of it all. Yeah,
That's
and so those, and then Rihanna's "What Now" video. Do you remember that video?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it always like made me feel something. I'm just like, ugh. The song is already a lot. It's raw, emotional, but it's like emotion and confinement, and then representing inner chaos, you know.
Yeah.
And then lastly, The Shining. The
Oh,
Shining.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love the show. It's like it genuinely terrifies me every time I watch it.
But it's like okay, what's happening next?
Right. It's
It's
very
like there's an underlying eeriness, and then being trapped within like your own psyche, right? So those were my references when I was developing it, the film, for
that's
sure.
it's perfect because that was what the next question was. So you pretty much answered it.
Oh,
Um,
I'm going too fast.
oh no. I think we're having a good. I threw a few extra questions at you, so I think we're making good time. So
Good.
it's
Okay.
but I guess, and you kind of talked about it a little bit, but just to like separate it from the rest, like what were the biggest obstacles when working on this film and how did you overcome them?
I want to say the biggest challenge was the limited budget,
Ah,
and finding the right crew with a small budget. Because we needed people who were talented and believed in the purpose of Always Enough, the film.
mhm.
And, you know, of course, we faced the wildfires, the tight time window, rain, the team's commitment through it all, it never wavered. So because this project it's centered on mental health and healing, everyone that I reached out to, and I'm talking about everybody that I reached out to, they wanted to be a part of it in a meaningful way, and they with considering the small budget, they were just like, hey, like I'm willing, I'm here, I'm available. So we definitely overcame those challenges by communication, teamwork, compassion, and making my I had to make sure that everybody knew from the beginning of the film, you know, to the end, that everyone felt seen and valued. And I wanted them to know like your input matters. This is your film just as much as it's my film. It's a collaborative effort, and I kept emphasizing that throughout the whole process, from you know the editor to the PA. Every person mattered equally, and I feel like that was part of the reason why we were able to overcome the challenges that we faced. Just everybody feeling important and believing in the film and in what it stood for.
That's lovely. I think I think it goes a long way because one, you're creating a space that people feel like they can contribute to and maybe have a space to be creative because it's hard to find work, let
Yeah.
alone work that you can have a creative say in. But then two, that's what makes people want to keep going, want to keep like working on it. And so I feel like it really comes through because like, do you ever watch something and you're like, oh, this is great, but there was this one thing that happened that seemed out of left field, and you're like, oh, was that a producer note, or was that like
Right. Yes.
that someone wasn't vibing, but they wanted to like do it anyway? Like everything felt cohesive into one vision. So, I you say that, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Like that's
Well, yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, that was important for me because you've worked on projects where it's just like I want everybody at the end of the day to feel like they were seen and their work didn't go unnoticed, no matter how big or small their role is. Everything at the end of the day, we need the editor, we need the PA, we need all of these hands, right? So I wanted everybody be felt and I mean seen in the light that they needed to be seen in. So that was important for sure.
wonderful. Wonderful. My next question is piggybacks off of it a little bit, but has working on this film changed your approach to filmmaking or inspired a direction for your next projects?
Absolutely. This definitely. Listen, I was wearing multiple hats. Number one, I would never do this again. I'm wearing multiple hats. Like, I mean, of course I can do one or two roles, and that would be about it. But you know, as a writer, a producer, co-director, an actor, it's a lot to carry, and it taught me that filmmaking is, I mean, it's a lesson in balance, right? You can't do everything alone, and you honestly, you shouldn't, and you don't need to. So now, with this experience of wearing multiple hats, it is definitely, I believe in collaboration over control. That's one of the lessons I definitely had to learn. And I feel like each person deserves one clear role so they can shine, and you know, they are able to fully immerse themselves in that role and really do a great job. And I found collaborators that I trust, and it's changed how I approach every new project. It's actually taught me a lot, and it's also inspired me to expand Always Enough into a feature film. Because now I feel like we do have a good foundation, the vision's there, and we have the heart to make it happen. So I'm endlessly grateful for everybody that was involved on this project, because although I wore many hats, for them to show up the way that they did and to give their A game from the beginning to end, and honestly, there was no complaints. There was nothing. Like, they might have complained behind my back, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
but they were never, they never seemed like it was too much, and they literally were so willing. So, you know, yes, collaborative. I'm gonna always want to collaborate. I rather collaborate. I don't have the urge to control anything. I mean, if I feel like I need to step in and say something, of course I'm going to do that. But I do want to give people that space to have their role and to thrive in it.
I think that gives you so much more power, because I've always felt like when I'm working on a project and it's a group project, but it's like my vision, sure, okay, my vision's meant to like guide everybody. And if everybody like is on board and understands that, then they can like express how they think it would add to it, or maybe even like suggest how it might not be working. Because if all the ideas are just coming from one person, like, at least for me, like, it could easily go stale. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? So I feel like people who are able to collaborate in that way, one, it makes it a little bit easier. I think it's more fun, and you have a better result from it.
I agree 100%. And, you know, like, and also setting the tone, right? Letting people know, like, hey, this is your role. You have a say so, and just be able, if you have something that you want to change, or you feel strongly about, or you think this would be the better idea, I'm open to hearing that. And I feel like it makes everybody comfortable to express their ideas, as opposed to, hey, this is my project, this is how it's going to go. And you know, and then people are just like, I don't want to say anything. And it's like, it's really just, yeah, there's a group here, but it's one person's idea and one way only. And I don't feel like I mean, I don't get it. Nobody gets too much out of that, right? So
No.
I definitely agree with you.
Wonderful. I guess, well, if now's a good time, if you have any like fun stories you want to share, or do you have any plugs?
I do. I definitely have some plugs. But, you know, some funny stories that I would like to share. I just feel that through this process and the people who have come together, it's just been a journey of bringing creatives together is an interesting thing, because you get to see how people show up, and then automatically they're just like, okay, what do I got to do? How do I got to do it? We never met each other, but we're here for one purpose, and we're going to get it done. And I just feel it's a beautiful thing. But it's funny how creatives really just come in, and we own the space, and we're going to meet you today. We might only work with you for a couple days, but like, we're going to have a ball, right? We're going to get this done. We're going to try to have a ball. We're going to try not to stress. And I feel like there was some stress through this process, but we laughed and we enjoyed it as much as we possibly could. And I think we're all proud of it. So it's just funny how we creatives, we really make things happen and we make the most of it, you know, given circumstances, time. You make a family out of that moment. So
Yeah.
I always feel like that it's funny to watch. It's funny to see, okay, how are these people going to get along and how are they going to mesh? And it always seems to work out. So I love that. And the plugs, I do have some plugs, guys. I do.
Yeah. So we want to follow you and see where it's next showing, see what your next project is. How do we follow you?
Definitely. Well, first I want to say a huge thank you to Paramount Gives for matching our donation, Gotham for being our fiscal sponsor, Seed and Spark, they definitely provided, you know, grants through a generous donor who was featured in our credits. And of course, Mental Filmness, Danielle, yourself, and Sharon. Thank you guys so much for this time and your interest in our film. I feel like you guys have an amazing network, and I'm really grateful to be able to have some time with you. And you guys can definitely find our film and keep up with us on, you know, the next rollouts and the premiere status and the new things to come with Always Enough on our Instagram, which is at Always Enough Film. And we'll have some festival updates there and behind the scenes moments. And we just look forward to the new things that we do have in development, new projects, and we can't wait to share that with all of you guys. So those are the plugs.
That's incredible. Yay. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to hear that you got that support.
Yes.
Great sources. And it's just in a time where it's hard to find work in the industry. It's like the world is kind of chaotic, even more so than usual. It's just so, it makes me so happy to hear that people are able to make stuff and be like happy with what they're making and like connect with people. Even when you said that there were people that you didn't know, like I feel like it's really common. You talk to someone and they're like, oh yeah, all my buddies came and like I owe them favors, which is like totally cool. But like to get a group of people you don't know and you guys just vibed, like
yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, I knew, like, you know, our director Keegan, I knew, you know, one of our producers, Chris Rouse. I knew them before, but everybody else, yeah, I went on, what was it, Backstage, also, you know, referrals from our director, but yeah, everybody was, I just met you guys, so it was a beautiful collaboration for sure.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, for submitting your film. Just please keeping you. I can't wait to follow you and see all the things that you'll go to do in the future. I think that's the end of the interview, unless there's anything else you'd like to say or share.
Well, thank you so much, Danielle, and thank you for the beautiful conversation. I can't wait to follow you and your journey as well. And thank you for shining light on stories like this. Like it means so much to me. And this is honestly, it's been the highlight of my evening. So thank you for your time.
Of course, I will echo. All of the props for Mental Filmness goes to Sharon. She's incredible. I'm a big fan. We've only talked over the internet, and I'm like, I think she's just great at what she does.
You know what? I've talked to so many people on the internet, and those are my homies for real.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need to meet you in person, but if we do, we're familiar.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, of course.
I love that. And I can't, hopefully we get to meet in person one day. We're in the same city, so let's make it happen.
LA. I'm ready. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.